Hello, 6th graders. It's Mrs. Lott again, and I am here today to help you with inquiry and applying some skills to your case study projects. Last time we talked about questioning and asking the right kind of questions. Today we're moving into the next step. So I would like to present to you today Understanding Inquiry, Part 2 by Mrs. Lott. So today's learning intention is you will be able to answer your questions by investigating an article in a database. And how you're going to know you're successful is you're going to spend time searching databases for articles that could answer your question. So we're building on the questions that we talked about last time. You can skim articles to see if it's worth reading. So I want to teach you what that word skim means to make the best use of your time. The fourth thing that will tell if you're successful is that you'll be able to capture important notes that go onto your team presentation, because this is helping you create slides for your case study. And then finally, very important, to use a citation, and that is going to tell people where you found your information. So if they wanted to look for more information about that topic, they could also look for your resource online. I also want to make sure I address this topic of not plagiarizing. So when we get to that point of what we do with notes, we want to make sure that we don't copy too much word for word. So that is where we're headed today in Part 2. Let's take a quick peek at where we ended up last time so you can remember Part 1. So we talked a bit using a chart like this, how we can generate and brainstorm questions either on our own or as a team. And we talked about how when we pick words, question words that are up at the top of this chart and question words that are to the left, we're going to get lower level questions or easier to answer. And then as we go down the chart, we find more complex questions that don't have one single answer. So I just wanted to remind you where we were last time, and we're building on this inquiry process. Okay, so last time we talked about choosing a topic, finding out more information, and then also we talked about generating your questions. So here we are today. Today we're going to talk about where can I look for information, and then how can I take notes. For the purpose of our project, we're not interviewing anyone specifically. We're looking at resources. So where can I look for information? How can I take notes? We're also thinking about text features. As we're looking at the text, is it helping us? How can we look for headings or for bold words or for important things that guide our attention to parts of the article so that we don't have to read the whole thing? We just read what we need, and what we need is going to answer our questions. So I want you to be thinking as you're working, is this answering my question? So this is where we are today in these middle sections of the inquiry process. Okay, so we're going to use geography as an example for your case studies. So this is material that you look at early on in the school year and some definitions and terms. Your teachers give you something that looks similar to this, that is a guide to help you determine what information to put on your slides as a team, who's completing it. So this is a really helpful note-taking tool that helps keep track of who is doing what job. But we'll be using some of these terms today in our research, so I wanted to show you that. So resources. I love when students use databases. A database is a trustworthy, reliable online resource that either our district or our school pays money to subscribe to. And because of that, we want you to use it, number one, but it's also helpful because you do not have to evaluate whether this resource is a good resource or not. You can trust it right off the bat. In our next session, we'll talk a little bit about evaluating websites, but because if you go to a database, you don't have to question whether it's fact or not. You can trust it. And so how we get to databases at our school is we go to the library page. Okay, so from our school website, under Learning Resources, we go to Library. From there, we click on the McInVIA link. And when you log in using your ID number and your password, it will log you in. I'm already logged in on this tab, so I'm going to click right there. You'll see your name up at the top. Another thing, if your name and password don't work, you can always use the general school account. The username is TIS for the International School, and the password is Cougars, all lowercase, COUGARS. Okay, so for today, we're going to use this navigation bar on the left and go straight to databases. You'll see that we've got BrainPop, Culturegrams, DK Find Out, many different world books, FreedomFlix. So all of these resources here you have access to, and they're all trustworthy resources. I want to show you 3 different places today. So Culturegrams is the first one. In social studies, this is a very helpful tool. It has information for countries all over the world. Okay, you can use the World Edition, and you can also use the Kids Edition. The World Edition is going to be a higher reading level, whereas the Kids Edition is slightly easier to read. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the World Edition, and I'm going to use Chile as my country that I'm studying as my example. So what I did just there is I see the world map, and I know that Chile is on the continent of South America. So I click that, and it makes it bigger. And from there, then I click on the country that I want. So it's just like 2 clicks, and you're where you need to be. So a little bit of navigation on this article. The front page usually has some facts. On the side are the headings. Okay, so these are the quick ways to get to the different chunks of the article, so you don't have to read it all. So if I just wanted to know about physical features, which I do need for my geography, I can click right there on land and climate, and it goes straight there. If I needed to jump to some other fact, I certainly could do that. So if I look back at what I need for geography, I'm looking for what is the relative location of the country, what is the absolute location of the country, what is a human feature. Okay, so what is something that was made by humans here? What is a physical feature? Something that is created by nature. So those would be my questions that I'm trying to answer as I look at this resource. And so what I'm doing now is I am skimming. I'm looking for numbers. I see that this tells me how big the country is. 5,000 islands. That could be a natural feature. Mountains, lakes, beaches. So I'm skimming. I don't see the absolute location, however. I could go ahead and do the relative location, okay, because I know where it is on the globe. I found that when I clicked on it, and I believe that's in here as so relative location. It is the east side of the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so then I could figure that out by looking at the map. Absolute location I'm not going to find in this resource, but I promise you it'll be in the next one. So I could do, though, a feature. And so I could say that more than 5,000 islands could be a natural feature of Chile. So that is something I could have gotten from this resource. Okay? What else? I'm skimming right now. I'm saying holidays, arts, recreation, diet, life cycle, dating, and marriage. When I'm looking at the geography, I'm just skipping over all of these. These things do not answer my question right now. And so it's not worth my time to click in these areas when I'm trying to stay focused on answering geography questions. Okay, so let me show you one more thing before we switch to another tool. We definitely want to cite our sources. And so another really awesome benefit of using a database is that it will generate the citation for you. Okay? On websites and photos, images that we use, we have to have the knowledge of what information we need. But in a database, all we would do is copy and paste this and put it into the last slide of our slideshow, and we've got our citation there. So you'll notice it has the article title, it has the name of the database and the publisher, the year that it was updated, then it has the link to that actual article, and the date I accessed it. And that's everything that you need for a citation in MLA. Okay, so MLA is what we use. It stands for Modern Language Association. APA is American Psychological Association, and some colleges use that and some certain content areas. Okay, so like psychology and the social sciences, but as far as public education and middle school, we use MLA. So that is the format that you would use to put onto your slideshow. So Culturegrams, awesome resource. I really encourage you to use it. Lots of answers for you there. Another database that we want you to check out is WorldBook. This is an online encyclopedia. Our school district pays for our subscription to this every year for the whole entire district. And there's there's many different WorldBooks. We have, you'll see, let me go through them. Sorry, I'm scrolling so much. So we've got Early Peoples, so those tell about ancient cultures. We also have WorldBook Inventions and Discoveries, so that's more science and technology based. Living Green is a database that has articles on environmental issues. And WorldBook is the general resource for young students. WorldBook Discover is one that you could open up. This is going to be about a middle elementary reading level, and so for some of us this is going to be a great reading level to target. And then WorldBook Student. This WorldBook Hallazgos is a Spanish, all the articles in that are in Spanish. So if you're a Spanish speaker, that's a really cool database that you can access as well. But for the project today, we're looking at WorldBook Discover and WorldBook Student. So first let's open up Student. Alright, and so this has a cool navigation. You can click here to get different things, but I know my country, so I'm just going to go ahead and type that in and hit enter. And it has several different related things, but I want to say read more. And so this is the article on Chile. Alright, and there's something called Facts in Brief. Let's see. Oh, here's the citation for this article. Okay, so right off the bat, if I'm going to use this article, there's my MLA citation. I copy that and I paste that and put it in my last slide when I use this information. So it starts off by, oh, here's another tool. You can listen.
Chile or Chile is a long, narrow country on South America's west coast.
So this will read to you, which is a pretty awesome feature of a database. Here's Facts in Brief about Chile. This is pretty cool. It tells me the capital. So this is like quick facts about your country. Remember, I'm looking for absolute location. That's what I'm trying to focus on. So I'm trying to look at these green headings and I'm skimming them. I'm not reading every single thing. I'm trying to find if I can find that absolute location. Coat of arms, the flag, the national anthem, chief products. I don't see it here. This might be helpful another time. Yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and use my back button to get back to the main article. Alright, so it shows me a map here. I see the towering Andes Mountains. Okay, so there's a physical feature, right? A physical feature. It's naturally there by nature versus a human feature. It's breathtaking. There are snow-capped volcanoes, thick forests, huge glaciers, many rocky windswept islands dot the rugged shore. Okay, I would not want to copy that whole thing and paste it into my slideshow. Number one, this is very academic language. It doesn't